We've got the 125-pound spreader unboxed. You'll see all of the contents of the hardware packs are laid out. You want to make sure that you've got the 4 carriage bolts, the 2 receiver hitch components, your cam buckle straps, the knob, and the 3 power adapters, and obviously the vehicle spreader itself. We're going to go through the assembly of the receiver hitch mount, and then we'll walk through kind of mounting the spreader up to the vehicle. So we'll go through that right now. First thing we're going to do is we're going to install the primary receiver component into the receiver hitch. We're going to use the pin, the washer, and the little hair clip here. Next, the vertical post is going to get mounted up to the bracket here, and you want to install this so that the flange is on the back side, and you'll notice the holes are offset. It can really only go on in this direction, but it's going to sit on there like that. We're going to install the carriage bolts through the holes, making sure the square shoulder on the carriage bolt goes through the square notches on the bracket. All right, tighten all your hardware up with a 13mm socket and ratchet or 13mm wrench. Okay, now we're going to set the spreader on this vertical post, and depending on the height of your receiver hitch and whether or not you've got a tailgate, that's going to kind of determine what's the optimal position for the spreader relative to the hole placement here. So I think on this one, we're going to mount it up pretty high. That way all of our controls are kind of above the tailgate here, and that'll just give you better access to the gate control, the speed control knob. We'll go ahead and set that on here. Having it at its high setting is going to give you a little bit wider seed dispersion rate. So you can use that to your advantage. If you don't need as much throw distance, obviously you can bring this down and limit the overall throw of your seed. You can also adjust the speed setting on the thrower to manage that as well. You'll notice the spreader's kind of pitched forward a little bit. We provide 2 cam buckle straps so you can guide this off and really tighten this up. Since it holds 125 pounds, we want to make sure that everything is supported well. If you had to run it like this, you could, but we highly recommend using the cam buckle straps to tie this back to the vehicle, and it'll help stabilize any play that you've got here. On this vehicle, there's some tie downs in the vehicle bed that we can utilize. If you don't have tie downs in the bed, I'd suggest going back to a frame member, roll bar, anything like that. We've got a lot of strap length here. You ought to be able to find something that you can connect to that's solid. Just snug these straps up where it pulls it back, where it's nice and plumb and everything's stabilized. You can see that adds a lot of stability to the unit. Once we've got it strapped off, the last thing to do is make your power connections. So we provide 3 different power options. We've got a cigarette adapter. It's definitely one of the easier options. Just plug and play right into your vehicle cigarette port. We also offer a alligator clip connection, so you can clamp these right onto your battery terminals. And then lastly, we've got a ring terminal power cord, so if your battery has threaded posts, you can connect this directly to your battery posts. So we've got the ATV spreader mounted up to this side-by-side. This 2-inch receiver mount is pretty universal, so it doesn't just apply to side-by-sides. There's a lot of ATVs that have this receiver hitch incorporated. You can also run this on the back of your pickup truck. So we tried to give you the most opportunity for universal attachment to your vehicle. And one other thing I'll mention is just running this on the back of the vehicle is Great for just overall seed dispersion. If you're running fertilizer or lime, definitely recommended to have it mounted on the backside of the vehicle so all of that can be behind you and you're not driving through it.